When Warren Buffett talks, we all tend to listen. So it's no surprise when he talks about the S&P 500 as a reliable investment choice that people want to learn more about. This video provides a solid background for understanding what the S&P 500 is, why Warren Buffett recommends it, and how to invest in it, plus much more. If you find the information in today's video helpful or useful, please leave a like and subscribe for more. So what is the S&P 500? The Standard & Poor's 500, or S&P 500 for short, is an index containing 500 large cap stocks. It's considered a benchmark for the stock market, and it's often used to gauge the overall market's performance. The main thing that makes the S&P 500 attractive to investors is its diversified index. This means that it's made up of various stocks, which helps mitigate risk. So you may be asking yourself, why does Warren Buffett recommend the S&P 500? The answer to this question is quite simple. He believes it's a good investment for the long run. Warren Buffett once said, "In my view, for most people, the best thing to do is owning the S&P 500 index fund." There are a few reasons why Warren Buffett thinks the S&P 500 is a good investment. First, he likes that it's a diversified index. As mentioned before, this helps to mitigate risk. Second, Buffett likes the S&P 500 because it's a long-term investment. This is something that he's always been a big proponent of. He's a big believer that you should invest long-term and try not to time the market. And lastly, Buffett likes the S&P 500 because it has this history of outperforming actively managed mutual funds. So you may be wondering, which S&P 500 funds does Warren Buffett own? Warren Buffett owns a few different S&P 500 index funds. These include the Vanguard 500 Index Fund, or VOO, and the SPDR S&P 500 ETF, or SPY. Now, why does he own these funds in Berkshire Hathaway? The answer to this question is twofold. First of all, as mentioned before, Buffett is a huge proponent of index investing. By owning these funds, he can get exposure to the S&P 500 without picking individual stocks. Secondly, Berkshire Hathaway is a large holding company. This means that it can hold a lot of different stocks and not be as impacted by the performance of any one stock. So how much can you earn with the S&P 500? It is typical to see on average around 10% with the S&P 500. This return is based on the historical average return of the index. Of course, depending on the overall market's performance and the amount of time you're invested in it, you can earn more or less than 10%. It's likely to make more than 10% if you stick to it for the long run. Some examples of funds that track the S&P 500 include VOO and SPY. It's essential to start investing as soon as possible and consistently over the years. My wife and I started investing in our early 20s and have loved the S&P 500 index fund. The power of compound interest will work wonders for you. You may be wondering how much you need to invest in the S&P 500 each month to become a millionaire. I put together the following numbers based on an annual 10% rate of return, starting with zero money in investments and retiring at the age of 60. You can always check it out here, or you could follow the link in the description of an article I wrote on this topic. Another amazing investment tool is the Dave Ramsey Investment Calculator. You can try many more scenarios using it, so have at it. We love this calculator and have used it many times to help us stay on track and adjust when necessary. It also helped us know how much we needed to hit Coast Fire, which you can learn more about in other videos on this channel. So how much does it cost to invest in the S&P 500? It actually doesn't cost too much. You can start investing in it through index funds or ETFs. If you're looking for the most affordable way to invest in the S&P 500, Vanguard's S&P 500 ETF, or VOO, as I mentioned previously, has an expense ratio of 0.03% as of right now, while the Vanguard 500 Index Fund Admiral Shares, VFIAX, has an expense ratio of 0.04. So you can see that it doesn't cost too much to invest in these index funds. It is important to double check on these expense ratios and see if there are any other fees before actually investing in them. You may be wondering if S&P 500 ETFs and funds pay a dividend. Both S&P 500 ETFs and index funds pay a dividend. The dividend yield on the S&P 500 is about 2%. If you invest $10,000 in the S&P 500, you can earn $200 in dividends yearly. But of course, this number may fluctuate depending on the overall market's performance. Now, what are the risks of investing in the S&P 500? You should be aware of a few risks before investing. First, it's important to remember that the stock market is volatile. This means that it can go up or down at any time. If you're a long-term investor though, this shouldn't be too much of a concern. However, if you need your money sooner, you should be aware of these risks. Another risk is to consider the fact that you're investing in a basket of 500 stocks. This means that if one of the stocks go down, it could significantly impact your investment. To mitigate this risk, you can invest in an S&P 500 index fund or ETF. This will help to diversify your investments and reduce the impact of any one stock. As with any investments, there is some sort of risk involved. But generally speaking, and according to Warren Buffett, the S&P 500 is a fairly safe investment. But of course, make sure to do your research first. Now on to the ultimate question. Should I invest in the S&P 500? Warren Buffett sure thinks so. It has also outperformed mutual funds over the long run. On top of that, index investing is a much simpler way to invest. You don't have to worry about picking individual stocks. Instead, you can get great exposure to the entire market by investing in the S&P 500 index fund or ETF. The problem with choosing another form of investing is that you have to outsmart the market. This is a difficult task even for the most experienced investors. If it were so easy, everyone would be like Warren Buffett. If you want to mitigate the risk as much as possible, it may be a wise decision to invest in the S&P 500. Remember that diversity is your friend when it comes to investing. For more information on topics related to investing, getting out of debt, and much more, please make sure to subscribe and we'll see you next time.